I didn't get the, I won't do it. Woo! We're on. Hi. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Festool Live. It's Festool Friday and Trappist. It's 12 noon?
12 noon.
Okay, so let me introduce you to everybody behind the scenes today. We have Travis. He's working the board for us, taking big D's. We have Noah. Where is, oh, right over here, answering all your questions on the line. We have Garrett Sato. Okay. Brah. Right over here, appropriately named is the unit, Chris Seibert.
Thanks, Sedge.
You're welcome, brother. Okay, did I cover everybody? Oh, and Garrett is doing double duty. He's also doing Min-Min's job. He's actually writing down where you're from. Okay, so I gotta ask a question. This is episode 159. I gotta ask a question. I wanna raise your hands. How many people have watched an episode of Festool Live? Cool, Sedge can retire. Right, good. Hey, is that Jason Bent over there? Wow, this is gonna be fun. Okay, so I'm gonna start this episode. Did I cover everything? Yeah, I covered everything I needed to cover, right?
The fan shop thing. Remember, it started today.
It started today.
Yeah.
Okay, so. Okay, so on the Festool website, we have, and it's how to register your tools. It's called My Festool. We have a giveaway going right now. How many gift cards is it?
50.
50 gift cards, and that's each country?
Yes.
Okay, so each country, US and Canada, we're giving away 50 gift cards. Hopefully I'm saying it right. And what that's for is something new. It's called the Festool Fan Shop. You can go get all kinds of swag there. We keep coming out with better and better pizza cutters. Okay, how many people have a pizza cutter? What is up with the Festool pizza cutter? Man, thank you for my retirement fund. I appreciate it. Okay, so, and that started when, Chris? Today?
Tuesday.
Tuesday, so go sign up, register, and enter to win. All the details are on the Festool and Festool Canada websites and social media accounts. Okay, I'm just checking because Chris is nodding. I want to make sure I get my shtick right. Okay, now comes the fun stuff. This is episode 159. And I'm going to hold this up. This is my money. It's not Festool's money. Okay? Everybody has been asking, what track saw should I get? Okay, see that's two $100 bills. Does anybody here want to save $200? Yeah, everybody wants to save $200. So that is what people have been asking me ever since the TSC 55 came out. Okay, that's the cordless. Then the TS 55 came out, the new one, F. And then the TS 60 came out. And now the TSV 60 came out. So which one should I get? Boy, this feels like I cut my nose there. Okay. And we also have a TS 75. Okay. We also have HK 55s, HKC 55, HKC 55s. For me, it's almost like that's confusing. Which one do I need? And the basis of it is, and all through the time that the TS60 has come out, and this is our new latest and greatest right here. Well, no, actually, we have the TSV. Which one should I get? And you can hear me say that 100 times. So it's one of those difficult things when you've seen Festool Lives where I've done it with the track, what did I do recently? Oh, dust extractors. Which one should I get? We have 9 dust extractors now. All right, so, and that'll continue. What happens is, we don't want to confuse people, but it's all about what are you going to use it for. Okay, this is kind of cool because I'm looking at people in the audience and they're going like this. And then I realize there's some monitors here. No, Noah's over here. This is kind of cool. All right. So when we come out with a new saw, people will come up to us and, hey, do I need that? And I will say sometimes, my first question is, what do you do for a living? What are you going to use it for the majority of the time? That's what you've got to think about. Okay, now, when I first started with Festool, we had 2 saws. We had the TS75, we had the TS 55. It was easy, and I'm gonna bring those out so you can see them. I just gotta keep looking at all the numbers here, okay? Now, I'm gonna go back to 2007 in some of my earlier trainings, okay? And I would bring people in, and they go, which saw should I get? And I go, okay, that's the 75, because it says 75, and that's the 55. What's the difference? One's bigger than the other. Duh, okay? But that's all you had to know about the saws. You knew one was bigger than the other. So what comes with, and you said it, what comes with a bigger blade? Depth of cut. That's why the 75 still sits in there. Now, I would ask, okay, so when I would ask the depth of cut, then I would go, what are you cutting the majority of the time? And they go, oh, plywood, I'm a cabinet guy. I go, get the 55. They would go, what if I need that 2 3/4? I go, then you come back and get a 75. You're not gonna be happy with the 75 if you cut plywood all day. Get the 55, okay? Because it's smaller, lightweight. It doesn't weigh more when it's on the rail, but it's a little bit more bulky. Okay, so lo and behold, a lot of people bought the 55. Then I came back and get the 75. It wasn't about selling more saws. It's putting you into the right saw for your applications, what you do the majority of the time. Bam! Okay, there you go. That's how you wake Chris up. I saw him like snoozing a little. Okay, now I'm going to teach you something about Festool. Okay, and some numbers here. What does 75 and 55 relate to? Very good. So what's 75 millimeters?
3 inches.
Roughly. I've been corrected a billion times. No, it's 25.04. Okay. It's roughly 3 inches. Do you get a 3-inch depth of cut with a 75? No. So when you look at that number on the saws, subtract 5. Because, who said that? Somebody said that. The track is 5 millimeters. Now somebody will say, no, it's not. I measured it here. No, you got to measure this and these little PFT strips. It adds up to 5 millimeters. So subtract 5. Who's good at math here? Subtract 5 from 75. You're not going to know? Oh, come on. You get 70, right? Okay, so that's your depth of cut on the guide rail. That's how you calculate it. So subtract 5 from 55. 2 inches, roughly. It's actually I stood corrected, 1.92934. Okay, but you get roughly 2 inches depth of cut at 90. But this is why that 75 still lives and will always live in the Festool system. Because you have to look at one other depth of cut. It's at 45. What I just quoted you, this is 2 3/4 at 90, and this is roughly 2 inches at 90. But what everybody's doing now is what? Waterfalls on slabs, okay? And wraps, I always call them miter wraps. This will give you, and I'll tell you right now, at 45, 2 1/8, roughly. You know how I know? I wrote it down here this morning. I can't remember all of this stuff. So the TS55 will give you at 45 roughly 38 millimeters if you do the math, and that'll give you about 1.5 inches or 1 7/16 right in there. Okay? So that's how when you do your wraps, you got to calculate that. A lot of people, if you're doing 1.5 inches top and wrapping it, a 55 will do it. Right? Okay. Whew. Then we came out with this. Where are you? And boy, I've talked to so many people about this saw. That's the TSC55. That's our cordless. That's another option you're gonna make. Do I want corded or cordless? Okay, and everybody knows we have a big push in our cordless technology, 18 volt with Festool. Does anybody have that new CXS 12? Oh my God, that is like an amazing drill. I didn't think we could better the CXS, but we have a 12 volt drill system and we have an 18 volt drill system, but everything else that we have in our cordless is 18 volt. So why is this so special? Okay, so when we originally came out with the TSC 55, it was a 2.2 millimeter. Then we re-released it with a 1.8 millimeter. The 55, the 75 was about 2.4 on most of the blades, but all of them on the 55 were 2.2 millimeter. That's what I have at home. I might put it on Craigslist later today. Just kidding. There's still a need for that. But the 1.8 millimeter, does anybody have that saw? There's somebody I was talking to today that traded in their 55 to get the newest one. I believe it was you, because you get the 1.8 millimeter. If you don't realize that, that is a night and day difference in ripping because of that thinner kerf. It's only 0.4 millimeter difference, but it's humongous. So I used to reach, when this went to 1.8 millimeter, I used to reach to this for the majority of my work. I have electrical outlets all over the training center back in Indianapolis, Indiana. And it is a huge difference because, yes, if I needed something larger, over 2.5, I would reach for that. Over 2 inch, the 75, and boy, it always worked great until I got spoiled with the 1.8. Okay, so that's how we came out with it. And then we came out with a TS55 the next year with the 1.8. All right, and that's what lives there. Hopefully, this is making sense a little bit. Okay, now we came out with the TS60. Okay, it's the latest. It's the greatest saw on earth. There is nothing similar, zero, completely 100% retooled unit than any of the saws we've ever come out, ever, at Festool. Okay? But it's $200 more, okay, than the TS55. Do you need, this is the decision, and do you need that extra depth of cut? Okay, so here's where you gotta, the math gets a little screwy. Okay, see where it says TS60? It's not 60 millimeters at 90, it is 62. Okay, so you subtract, okay, who's good at math, because I'm not. Subtract 5 millimeters from 62. I wrote it down, okay? It's 57, okay? Man, hey, you guys, help me out here. Throw me a bone, subtract for me, okay? So the depth of cut on the 60 is 2.25. And that makes a difference to a lot of people, dimensioning rough lumber, okay? At 45, it's 1 5/8 inches. So when you look at the 60, and think about if you're waterfalling slab, 1 5/8 inches is still a thick slab for a waterfall. You may not need that 2 1/8 you get with this 75. Just thought process, but here's what happens with the 60. Brushless motor, anti-kickback technology in it, all right? Just everything. It's hardwired, but you have a better depth control here. You got that? I mean, there's so many small refinements on the TS60. Right, look, right there, see this knob? There's something about it that is more ergonomic. It's easier to set bevels and tighten up bevels with it. It's wonderful, okay? And the cams are a little bit better. You actually have recesses, because you guys, everybody knows this, hopefully. When you put a saw on the track, you have to tighten the cams down, back them up, so there's no slop in here. Then you cut your splinter guide. All right, cool? That's the TS60. Then we came out with this year. Was it this year? Hey, Monarch, the legacy of monsters. Nice. Whoopsie. What is that? It's kind of cool. And this is what I want to talk about this one, because somebody will say, hey, I may do that. There's a lot of people that don't need this saw. This is the TS60V. And I'm going to run this. I'll run a couple of saws in a few minutes so we can see the cut. It's a good shot. This has 2 blades, okay? This replaces one of those larger sliding saws in a shop that has what? A scoring blade. You'll see it right here. Okay, I'll hold it up so everybody sees it. Oh, good morning. Okay, everybody want to meditate with me? Okay, good. Okay, this is a diamond tip blade. So this blade cuts in the opposite direction to score the thin laminate that you have, such as melamine. Do a lot of people here cut, who cuts melamine? Okay, guess what? You need the saw. Okay, because this splinter guard, and I knew I'd need these. Where are you? Right here. This splinter guard here, hopefully everybody knows this about tracks and track saws. This here I've cut with a TS60V, okay? And what happens with a regular track saw on here, this holds the fiber down from lifting as I'm cross grain cutting veneered plywood. But there's sometimes when you are cutting, Garrett, how do I say it that you liked? When good enough is not, when perfect is not good enough, what do I say? You forget. I said it during the Festool Live, I should watch it. When it's unacceptable. When what? Yeah, when good is not good enough. When you need perfection. And you're cutting melamine, you're doing an install of some kind of filler strip or cabinetry, or you're doing a flooring install and you're doing a vent. And you have those new recessed vents that you actually look at the floor, right? This has to be perfect. And you'll see it, there's a, where are you? Right here. That small blade cuts forward of the, and you can plunge cut with it. We've done Festool Lives on every one of these saws. You can go back and watch more in depth. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a few cuts so you can actually see what the saws are doing. And I could teach you maybe a few things about track saws and how to set them up. And how are we doing? We're doing good? Okay. I think I got it here. I'm just going to reach back here and get a little piece. How are we doing? We back? Oh, yeah, baby. Good. Okay, okay. Oh, right in here. Nice. I knew I stored them so I wouldn't forget them. Yeah, I'll work without it. Okay, so I'm going to make a cut here. All right. A limit stop. Limit stop. When you take your plug-it cord, I'm just going to make sure I'm good. You make sure your cams are tight, and you can still slide it. When you take your plug-it cord, make sure when you put it in, you just don't tuck it in like this. It's a full quarter turn to lock it in. Did you find one? No? Okay. So, when you're cutting with a track saw, I'm going to put this down so we maximize dust extraction. When you're cutting, see how the cams are engaged on the rail, on the back rib? Swing in here so these folks can see this. You see the two cams right here? They're both on here. If you start back here, look, it wobbles. You don't have an accurate cut. You don't get a good lineup. Always start with both cams. And I always do with this. I always check my depths. Okay. I go like this to see if the blade is not going to enter the wood. I'll start it up, full speed. When you get to the end, that's the center of my blade. Make sure it's pushed all the way past, lift it up full speed, and then cycle it off. Okay? That's track saw 101. So when I was doing internal training this week, we had people from HR, the finance department. They're probably watching right now. I made that cut. We all made a cut with a 55. Okay? And I go, isn't that great dust extraction? And they're going, they don't know. They didn't know. So I said, hang on a second. And I've done this demonstration 1,000 times. And it never, ever gets old. what we were doing with the dust extractor at full power, we were getting 96% of the dust, okay? I actually did this here a few years ago. Wow, look at all the people. Is that Eric Spenceley? He's ignoring me. Why do people ignore me? Why is that, Chris? He is the nicest guy in the world. He really is. Okay, everybody. You see any dust in there? Oh. Any dust? It's my Vegas trick. You've probably seen me do it before. Is there any dust in there? Home audience?
I don't see anything.
Any dust?
Get no on camera.
None? Go get, look, we can see it up there. You guys see that? Any dust in there? Okay. Never gets old. All right, where's my cordless? Right here. Come on, get on there. Cams. Cam. Oh no, cams, not you, Cameron. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna push this down. This is our outside splinter gad. I'm gonna push that down. Hey, has anybody seen Gwen? It's Gwen from West Virginia. Hey, and she said I have an accent. All right. That looks pretty cool, huh? Hey, Noah, you want to move to Indianapolis and take Chris's position?
How much you pay?
Oh, you should. Oh, you should see, man. Okay, how much you pay? I like this guy. Okay, this is 90% of the dust. That's a reason you buy a Festool track saw, right there. That's 90% of the dust. Okay. I think that explains it. So let's cut with the TS60V. So I can show you that and pass something around so you guys can see it. Let's do this. It's just, if you decide to get the cordless track saw, you just have to buy a Festool dust extraction with it because you got to clean up the back of the mic. I gotta retire. Okay, I am gonna cut with a TSV60. I'm going to move a few of these over. I gotta leave this one here. Wow, Chris, you're gonna have a lot to pick up today. Ooh, wipe out. Wipe out. I'm going to use this, but I got to get that plywood out of the way and this out of the way. Sorry, everybody. Set change. Who cuts melamine in here? God, I hate this stuff. Oh, I hate it. Hate it. I swear I never cut it, and then we come out with a 60V. All right. If you decide to get this saw, you have to have a separate track for it because of the blades. The dual blades, okay? Just so you remember. That's why I label mine. Or you have to replace the splinter guide. But if you really think about this, what this saw does for somebody working with really delicate veneered surfaces, this is worth its weight in gold. I'm just gonna set my depth. Whoops, it's always good to put the back to the audience, isn't it? Okay. Oh, this is a good one. There we go. All right. It's hardwired because of the output of the motors. I'll tell you what, Because the 60 and the 60V are hardwired, I didn't realize how spoiled I was with the plug-it cord. It's incredible. I hate plugging and unplugging, and look, I get tripping hazards, but it was a necessary evil to do for the motor, right? And we just need some dust extraction. Anti-kickback is engaged. You know what? Just because, no, I'll just do it. Just because, okay. This is where you gotta be really careful. Remember I said forward of the cut, you gotta make sure your diamond tip blade. And this is an extremely powerful saw. Okay. Okay. And hopefully you guys can see this. I'm gonna bring it right over here. Noah, get in here. When you are cutting with the TSV60, you have to be incredibly careful. Because I see so many people when they do stuff like this, they go like this and they see the cut and they go like that. It will cut you, and ask me how I know. I cut myself open really good last year using this saw. The one you have to be really, really understanding of is when you tilt the saw. Because now you can take a piece of paper and go like this and cut it. It is that good a cut. Can you all see that up there? There is not one daggone splinter, a chip out, anything. And this is the worst melamine I could find. I think if I look at it, I can chip it. It's incredible. It's so thin on there. So, don't buy the saw like people used to do with the 75 in case I need that 2 3/4. Because people say, well, if you're telling me the 75 used to do everything that the 55 does, then I'm going to get the 75 just in case I need that. Don't buy the TSV60 if you don't have the application for it. Okay? If you don't need that extra depth of cut, and you don't need the latest grips, but you want one of the world's best track saws out there with a 1.8 millimeter curve, save 200 beans and get the TS55F. It's the brand new one. Okay?
It works with FSK rails too.
Oh my God. Oh, Ronnie! God. Thank you, green suitor. All right. Hey, I know Ronnie has these. Does anybody have our HKs? I brought these. Our HK saws, carpentry saws. They work with our FSK rails. Okay, and I'm going to talk about a couple of things with this too. One of the things that we came out with this saw, it cuts just barely under 2 inches. And there's certain applications that contractors needed, okay, to get that little extra depth of cut. So I was really excited to see, where are you? I put it over here for a reason, right here, hardwired. The TS60, this is gonna be a little confusing. The TS60 has a second channel on the bottom. So guess where it works on the rail? But it works with the FSK rails. Wow, I almost lost a finger. So the 60 will get that, and where that really, this is a TJI. You guys have probably seen these in your basements, in your homes. Okay, the HK55 and HKC55 left a little bit of nib and you have to break it off. This will cut through these TJIs all day long. Okay, so that's another reason for the TS60. Now, made me think about something. I'll go one step further. Will the HK and the HKC that works on the FSK rail, man, I'm even getting confused in telling you folks about this. I'm going to bring this out. Okay. Yes, it does. it works with a regular guide rail. Okay, there's a little tab right here. See it? You guys get that? I'll come in and get that with you guys can see it up here on the camera. If I go like that, it releases up. It's always in the plunge position, like a regular circ saw. But if I go like this, I can take it like this. Okay? This is where I move my blade guide here like this. I did a full Festool Live on the HKs. Okay? You can go look it up. But when I put that on the rail, people go, it doesn't work on the rail. Yes, it does. You just can move the blade guide. Okay, so the reason we did this is more of a carpentry, rough carpentry, siding saw, roofing saw. Yeah, but people love it for flooring. But the thing what was great about it was if somebody's up on a roof and they need a plunge saw to do a skylight, you can plunge it down and then lift it out. So that's why we developed it like that. Okay, the nice thing, and I was really glad to see it, that the TS60 works on the FSK Rail. Thank you, Mr. Fulton. I almost forgot a cool thing to talk about. All right. How's everybody doing? Good? Good? We're good. Okay, so the live audience here gets to answer questions. But I see, man, I hope I can read this. Can you give me this, Garrett? Man.
Don't smear it.
Wow. What did you do? Oh, no. Look, he wrote it down this way, and then he wrote it this way. I can't thank you all enough because I'm so repetitive. I hear myself sometimes. I don't watch these ever after we do them, but I hear myself as I'm saying this. I can't thank you enough for watching Festool Live, because I know there's people. I know for a fact there's people out here that I don't have to read today because they're sitting here. So I want to thank each and every one of you. Hey guys, there's a person I'm going to call out first, and you all know him if you watch Festool Live and you watch to the end. Because I can't believe it. He's actually here. And he knows I'm going to go. It's Dirk from Dayton. Okay. And that's his wife, Stephanie. From Dayton. Dirk's here. Okay. And Gwen is here from West Virginia with Dave. So, thank you. Okay, so let's get a reading. Oh my God. All right. We have Anaheim, California, Lausanne, Switzerland, Beretwil, Switzerland, Canton, Connecticut, Hillside, Michigan, DeRidder, DeRidder, Louisiana, LA, California, excuse me, Caldwell, Idaho, Bermuda, Steve, Portland, Oregon. I got corrected when I used to, growing up in Maine, I called it Oregon. Boy, when I did a Festool Live out with Woodcrafters, about 400 people said, it's Oregon. It's Oregon. It's Oregon. Okay, it's Oregon. Okay, hey, we have Clarksburg, Maryland, Edinburgh, Scotland. I'm going, baby. Prince Frederick, Maryland, Tuscumbia, Alabama. They're new. Eatonton, Georgia, West Fairleigh, Vermont, Whitestone, New York, Southern California, Berkshire, UK, Sugar Grove, Illinois, Atco, New Jersey, Columbus, Ohio, Bellevue, Nebraska, Novato, that's Blake. Blake's from Novato, Ularvi, Finland, Newark, Ohio, New Hyde Park, New York, Holland, Greenlee, Colorado, Walla Walla, Washington, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Woo! Okay, we have Pumpkinville, Australia. There's something wrong with that name. We have Batavia, Ohio, Swatter, Lincoat, England, Hartville, Virginia, Citrus Heights, California, Mike from Hawaii. We have Marietta, Georgia, Mullingar, Ireland, Ontario, Canada, South Africa, Krimpen and the Netherlands, Greenville, Ohio, Hoffman Estates, Illinois, Beaverton, Oregon, Downers Grove, Illinois, Victoria, BC, Canada, Tom from Morehead City, Adam from Poland, Dedham, Massachusetts. We have Nashville, Indiana, Herndon, Virginia, that's Willie, my buddy Spactrician, Sun City Center, Florida, North Wales, they're back. Delaware. What movie? Hey, Delaware. Wayne's World. How many people here, stop it. How many people here have seen Wayne's World? Really? Jevin, you never seen Wayne's World? It's one of the greatest movies ever. The unit's never seen Wayne's World. Oh, God. Okay, Bloomington, Indiana. Oh, Garrett, you're killing me. We have South Devon, England. We have Northumbria, England, the 70th birthday of Richard. Cool. We have Big Island, Hawaii, Pensacola, Florida. John, are you from the Big Island? Oahu, baby. Pensacola, Florida. Waseca, Illinois. Memphis, Tennessee. Paris, France. Wow. Anthem, Arizona. Corsicana, Texas. Austin, Texas. That's Mike. Right? Our buddy Mike there. Mike Martinez. Lake Como, Italy. Fenton, Michigan. That's my main man. Martin from Fenton. Woodcraft, Springfield, Virginia. Matt from Tinley Park, Illinois. We have Yorkshire, England. Russ, my buddy Russ from Chichester. Sunny, Blackpool, UK. Christopher from Malta. We have Granite Falls, Washington. Mississauga, Ontario. Hey, this is a kind of a familiar place unit. It's called Zionsville, Indiana.
What's up, Doug?
What's up, Doug? We have Douglasville, Georgia. We have RI. I believe that's Rhode Island. We have Soren from Denmark. Dirk from Dane. He actually posted there. So right there, that's Dirk. There he is. Okay, we have Toledo, Ohio. We have Woodcraft and Dayton. Woo! We have Minneapolis, Minnesota, Edmonton. That's in Canada. And Verts, Virginia. And they're all here. How you guys doing? Hey, how far a trip was that? 10 hours. Wow, man. How many beers? Just kidding. All right, good. He likes that. All right. Okay. Thank you. We say this to everybody on, as us old guys say, on the line every week. And from my heart, Minnie's, Chris's, Travis, Garrett, everybody who's involved with Festool Live, we love you. Thank you for being part of our family. That's number one. Second, I want to thank the Hartfield, Hadware, and Lumber family for honoring us to allow us to do this here at Hatfield Hadware. Thank you very, very much. We really appreciate it. And also, have a great weekend. We're here all weekend. Try the veal. Boom, boom. And everybody online, this is going to be a wrap for you. Have a great weekend.